Yeah, so obviously we're going to be going here for a decent kind of amount of time, So I think what we'll do is we will just get cracking. I am in behind the ecosystem account of mine, and I'm inside Researcher as an app, and I'm just going to go over to this page. Okay, this page here being floating shelves. Okay, this is where I started off this morning, just before we all connected, and I wanted to get a start on a pipeline pathway, as we called it inside the pipeline program with Ali and Melissa. I wanted to start off this thing, and I just got there by doing my usual thing, clicking in down through the categories. Which I said I'm not going to replicate that because we can get started. And this brought me very, very quickly into a number of different areas. And I have these areas here where we're going to start off in our product research. So I've got this sort of hammock, I've got this umbrella stand, I've got a hammock bottle holder, okay, which you can imagine came from the hammock, okay, whenever we were segueing. I've got this wine bottle holder, which came from, I believe it came from the hammock actually as well. I've got this outdoor cushion storage. And lastly, I have got this, which is going to be quite interesting. So they all came from exactly the same area of segueing. And of course, whenever I'm segueing, I always right click and open a new tab so that I can see what's happening here. And at the end of a session, I can always save where I am by saving all the bookmarks, and then I'm ready to go again, and even potentially take each product and make a pipeline pathway off that product as well, or from that product. So the first thing that I always do whenever I've got a product here that may be of interest, right? This is like a straightaway thing where we can work out, is this a good market without even having to go near the market, okay? I'm just going to go back to the first page down in this area. So we've got that product that does fit the demands of what we're looking for in terms of its specific items and all of that stuff that we talk about early days. And this is a hammock, okay? So I come down into this area, sponsored products, or sometimes they're called, this area is slightly different where you'll see, sort of customers also bought, or sometimes as well, you'll see like 4 stars and above. This immediately tells me what the sort of noise is going to be inside this market, because if we see it here, right, then we're going to see it whenever we type in the generic key term. So whenever I look down here, I see hammock, 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 hammock. Next page, there's about another 3 or 4 hammocks. There's about another 6 or 8 hammocks. There's about another 7 hammocks. Okay, so immediately I'm getting this thing where it's like, look, this hammock market is going to be really, really noisy, right? It's going to be very, very competitive. We might even see a lot of clones in here, but it immediately tells me that this is not a market that we want to do. But what I'm looking to see in here, if I see that with this eye, the other eye is looking on what's different, right? What is it that's different? And of course, on page 5, you see this, okay? And this is this, okay? That's where I got that from. So I just right click on the mouse and I open that up and I continue to go along. I've got 135 pages here on this particular product. Not all of them have that, but a very, very quick check down through this will blast open my research. And it will also immediately rule out the product that I may be looking at, or it may rule out the product that I'm looking at. And as I go on further, if I keep going, we'll likely see the storage bag that I was looking at. It might have been, in fact, there's the bottle holder. Okay, so it was different to the rest of the products. Keep going along. I can't remember what page it was on, but you're going to see the storage thing for the outdoor cushions. Okay, and because there wasn't as many of those, so people might say, well, why have you not got the hammock carabiner or fastener set? That's because there's even a lot of those in here, and I'm not even in the product. So you'll see here, right? So there's another one. There's the storage bag. Let's say about those hammock carabiners. There was quite a lot of them as we kept on going through. Here's another one. And also you can get a feel for the product itself inside here. So whenever we look down, we've obviously got to open it up to see about BSRs and look into the markets. But let me just go back to that storage bag, because there was another little indicator here a little sort of snippet in that we can get the price. Okay, so whenever you look at the carabiners and things, a lot of them are $4.99, $5.99. If that's the market, then what are we expecting to see whenever we would go into that market? Well, I'd be expecting to see a lot of products that are $4.99, $5.99, and therefore not useful to us. Also here, I'm looking and saying, now we don't take anything to do with reviews. The only thing that I can assume a little bit about on this product is if it's got 14 reviews, it means it has been selling. Whereas if I see something that has got 0 reviews, then I would assume that it hasn't been selling. So therefore its BSR wouldn't be as good. So we can do a little bit of that as well. It's not a magic bullet. You're not going to find any of those here today. You're just going to find a hell of a lot of different things that you can do, and you can start to mimic what we're doing here. Because if you can mimic what we're doing and mimic what we're thinking, then your research is going to get better and better and better. So whenever we segue off this, one of the first things that we obviously do here, Ali, is we check the market. Right now, I know straight away that this market is not going to be overly interesting. However, we will, whenever we're looking at it, while we're building up our mastery, we would obviously go and check that market. So generic key term here, Ali, what are you thinking about generic key terms?
Yeah, so I think, well, we can see that the Amazon choice says umbrella stand outdoor, but we always want it as generic as possible. So I think umbrella stand might be the right one.
I think so. It's unlikely that you're going to have an indoor umbrella stand, as far as I'm aware. So I'm actually going to use this page here because I'm not coming back to this. Go back to the start of Amazon, the very main page, and you went with an umbrella stand. Okay. So what we want to see is, are we going to see the same style of product that we were looking at? Okay. Or have we gone too generic? Or have we not gone generic enough? I think in this instance, Ali, you're absolutely bang on the money here in terms of your generic key term. But let's just check and see. So we've got, this style, this style, this style. So there are items here. We've got 3 of very similar items that I was looking at. We've got a product that is not the same, so we sort of exclude that. So it's more going for a stand, or more like a storage of actual umbrellas, or small umbrellas that a person would use rather than a patio umbrella. But we're definitely getting to see the products here inside. I do feel like there is one element to this that is maybe opening this market up a little bit too much, in terms of it's maybe actually too generic, Ali. So maybe we could go and add in another word just to see what would happen. Would you agree here?
Yeah, I think possibly the word patio.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go. And again, because we're almost emulating the customer here. Okay, so we're going to go with patio umbrella stand. Now we've got 7,000 results in the umbrella stand, so it wouldn't be ruled out, but it would have to do really something extraordinary to make us even think about it. Now we've got 2,000 results, so slightly better, and probably going to see more of the type of product that I was thinking about. But what we might also see is the actual umbrella as well. So we might see a patio umbrella with a stand, because that's the keywords that we've typed in. But here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Very much exactly the same product, or certainly the same functionality, right? Next row down, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so immediately I'm getting really cold feet about this market. I'm also looking at the BSRs here, right? 92, 42, 500, 2,000, 9,000, 3,000, 3,000, 8,000. Big market, right? We're looking at a big market, and we're not even on down. These 2 I would disqualify because it's not the same product, but we got 2 more nigh on identicals, 3,000, 3,000, and I am out. I've got 10 items here, and it's a really big market. We got another 3 inside this area, and I'm not even getting involved in the different styles, the different types, the different prices, the different functionalities here. I'm just saying mass noise is kind of what I'm going with here, Ali. I'm sure you'd agree, but maybe you'd just want to add a little bit into that.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, if you kind of imagine your product sitting on this page amongst all the noise, you'd have to ask yourself, how could I stand out in here?
Yeah, I mean, if I went and did a product like this, am I even going to get onto the first page? that's definitely something to consider. And we want to always consider getting onto the first page so that we can get some eyes on our product. So while this product doesn't meet the standard for us, we would of course keep it here and see what we could do in terms of segueing off. So let me just go back. I'm at page 28, and I'm going to stop at page 28 for a reason. Probably should have been back to page 1 unless any eagle-eye cherries saw what I was looking at there. But exactly what I was saying about the noise that we just saw by typing in the generic key term, the noise is here as well, okay? Because we've got here, sort of 4 already, plus we got the umbrella scenario. We go on, and like there's another 4 on this page, and actually this is the same thing, would you believe? So it's more, here's more again. So a real snapshot, very, very quickly, we could have identified that there's a hell of a lot inside this, what we're going to see. Because if we see it in here, and we then type it in, we're going to see it inside the search results. And you're just seeing more and more and more and more. And there's no way to really distinguish yourselves inside the market. We're going to be trying to push the envelope way too far. And if anybody ever needs to see about trying to push the envelope, what I thought was I actually came across with a really good example earlier on, and I thought that I would save it. And I'm sure you've probably seen this as well before, Melissa. But now I took this product specifically, right, in that this is an item that we would never sell because, again, go into the market for a shower curtain or things like that, and you're going to see, as we said the other day jokingly, a market of carnage, which somebody picked up on, but it's definitely a market of carnage that you would see by looking down through all of these different things. But I see sometimes people doing something additional, right? So they find this and they realize, I don't think this is a good market. However, what I could do is this. So they think to themselves, what I'll do is I'll take a market which I know is not good, and then I will add a flavor or a taste. And they then take this and they look back and they say, well, what this is now is, let me just go back. And they go with, this is now a shower curtain with cats and dogs, okay? So they immediately try to create a product inside a product. But nobody or very little people are typing in shower curtain with cats and dogs. So what they're really doing is they are messing with the generic term. Melissa, I think you've probably seen that before.
Yeah, definitely. And I tend to be very, very conservative with my generic term. If I'm emulating the customer and I really can't know for sure that they're going to use those terms, I just don't use them. The example we use a lot on the Origin group call is sort of a baking pan example. So baking pan is going to be a hugely competitive market, right? But if you're emulating the customer, you're going to see round ones and rectangle ones. And it's reasonable to think that the customer would then subdivide the market by round baking pan, right? That's reasonable that they would use the term round because it's certainly a specific application. But then to further subdivide that market by, purple polka dotted round baking pans is not reasonable. I think that's what your example shows here is you got to really think about not subdividing that market down to something of taste or preference or just too far.
Yeah, because then I think this is a really good example because my original product that I was looking at here, yeah, this is a shower curtain with cats and dogs, but as is this, but now I'm in the customer's flavor and taste. It's like, what are they looking for? Are they looking for something generic with a cat and a dog? Or are they looking for a specific breed of dog? Or are they looking for something funny? So like the dog and the cat in the bath or in the shower. Are they looking for something funny but less so to do with the bath? Are they looking for dog paws and cat paws? Are they looking for multiple dogs and cats? Are they looking for like an Andy Warhol type of cats and dogs? Are they looking for cats and dogs coming out of the shower? All of a sudden, it's all gone to hell, right?
Yeah. Literally, there's absolutely no clarity, right? And if you're following the system, your first 3 things you look for, the third one is clarity. And there's absolutely no clarity when you get here. So that's a big red flag that you've gone too far.
Yeah, and yet you can always try to fool yourself by saying it's 882 results, therefore it's fine. It's not fine. You've only used one part of the jigsaw, which you have shoehorned in to try to create a market. I'll also show another style of this, right? I came across this and thought, could be a little bit risque, but it was this, right? It was this. And I thought, oh, what an awful image to show on your product. That's not going to win. But this was an idea whereby you're trying to create functionality. This is where, we talk about, fulfilling demand and not creating demand. Because I didn't even know that this existed. Right now, if I don't know that this existed, why in the name of God would I ever type it in? So it's like taking this type of product, which is a shower curtain, but also waterproof, waterproofs your iPad or your iPhone inside there. So I'm talking about a shower curtain with waterproof sleeve for iPhone, right? 29 results, right? So all of a sudden people will be thinking, oh wow, I've just found the best product in the marketplace, but nobody's typing that in, right? There's so little people are typing that in, and probably my original example doesn't even show up, which it doesn't. I don't think. No, it doesn't seem to. It's certainly not on. No, there you go. So even that didn't even show up that thing. It does show up something, weird set of gloves and different things, but trying to create that market. I want people to stop doing that, because it's a shower curtain, right? That's what people are typing in. That's what the vast majority of people are typing in. So therefore, we've got to make sure that what we're doing is we're actually replicating what customers are doing, that emulating our customer that we always talk about. Let's go down to where we were. We're on the page. So we're going down through, and we saw all of these different stands, all the different umbrellas. And let me just keep going. So, and again, you can do 96 of these pages really, really quickly. As you go on further, and as you refine the skill, you're going to be able to do this as quickly as I do it, as quickly as Ali does it, and as quickly as Melissa does it. At the start, it might take you a little bit longer, but I am now adept at skimming these pages and just keeping that eye open for something that is ever so slightly different, and taking that on to the next level. So as I was coming down through this, I was skimming down the whole way through, and then boom, I found this, right? And I thought immediately, that is different, right? That is not an umbrella stand. It is not an umbrella. It is not an umbrella on a stand, right? It's something completely different. This is a patio umbrella screen. Ali, since you're in the hot seat for generic key terms, is that what you would go with, or what would you have gone with?
Your umbrella screen, is that what you just said?
So there's the guy that I found. He's in the sponsored, and going and seeing this guy, which I think I might have moved. Let me just make sure I moved into. Yeah. So I wanted to check down and make sure, is this one, because we can't see the BSR whenever we're looking at the sponsored products, but 4,800. Okay, that's a good solid BSR, but I'd always check back, because that might not be the best seller. It might actually be an outlier, and I might see that one at 480,000 and think, no, there's no market. But I haven't actually checked the market. I've only checked one product. So make sure to check the market. So we've got here, we've got 11,000, got here at 9,000, got here at 5,000, here at 30,000. So while we're starting to see a relatively big market for this product.
Oh yeah, for sure, but not enough for me to kind of start worrying.
Nope, not just this at this time. We do have 4 competitors at the minute. Let's move down. Okay, so now we got the one that I found, something slightly different. It doesn't seem to be. I'm actually going to say that that's not the same thing. That's like a drape, whereas these other ones are very much. They have this buffer around them to create a proper screen. So I'm actually going to rule that one out. But I've got another one here. That's 6. That is 7, and it's just outside. That's a hammock one. This one, potentially. This one is more of that drape thing, so it's ever so slightly different. We're getting in. We've got some more there, and that is, again, some more, but well outside. For me, Ali, I just feel like there's a little bit too many players in the marketplace here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, along the same lines. I think only just though. So it's
Only
not
just.
yeah. So it's not like it's been red light here. So this is almost amber meets red, so to speak.
Amber, yeah, amber meets red. I like that. I like amber meets red. And it's because there is a certain market, right? The market for these is actually quite good, right? The size of the market is kind of where we'd like to see it, but I would have been really comfortable here if, let me just go back to the start. Let's ignore that top one, it's sponsored. If I'd have been looking at these 4 and these 3 are kind of more like 2, because I'm not sure this is exactly the same. I'm certainly not giving the opinion of exactly the same. If I had these 2, that would have really interested me then, for sure. I mean, I would have got involved in this because I would have thought I could stand out here, right? I could get involved in this. I could easily get on to this area, and I reckon that I could stand out and compete. Whereas there's just a little bit too much additional noise in the market, right? But it is kind of like amber meets red. It's a very close one, so I'm glad that we got that example. And nothing that I have here have we gone on further with. This is purely live, so therefore we're going to find these. We are definitely going to find these things. Now, my immediate reaction is not to completely move away from this. My immediate reaction is this product here, where we were, and then we moved into this one. This market here, Melissa, is a hell of a lot better than this market. Would you agree?
Definitely. Oh, most definitely, yeah. Yeah.
And we're sort of moving down, as we talked about inside Roots Research. You know, like this umbrella stand, he's like a level 1, level 2. That, you know, he's moving towards that. And even in the type of product, this is sort of moving down level 2, level 3, right? But unfortunately, he just doesn't get to all the bits of a level 3.
Yeah, I totally agree. It definitely is. It's not as common a product as you would find. It's definitely boring, but it's more niche. And I'm in the same boat. It's a amber red for me. You got to think about, you know, the peak demand of this product is right now. So this is about as competitive as the market gets, but it still is it's just outside of the comfort level with the amount of competition. So
yeah, and again, looking at it, as you rightly say, there's a very good point. The market for this is now. So the market is probably at its height. So therefore, if you still had that level of competition of like 12, 13 other sellers, whenever it moves into October, November, the market will shrink a little bit, but you're still going to have the competitors. But as I would sort of say to people is, where do you think we would be better off moving from to find the next best product? Would it be moving from here, or would it be moving from here? Well, it is, of course, here. Right, Melissa?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, you're going to get, you know, when you're in a competitive market, you're going to get more competitive presentations in the sponsored products area. You're going to stay at that same level. You got to dig down to the different levels. You segue off into the different levels, and then you parallel off of once you get to that 3 or 4 level, then you parallel off of that. You kind of stay at that same sort of level of competitiveness.
Absolutely, because the closer you are to gold, the closer you are to gold. It's really, really simple. It's really, really simple.